Welcome back, people. We're back with another week on the Jits Guy podcast. I can't wait for today. I've been waiting. I could have devised this entire podcast as a scheme to get this guy to talk. That's how rare and difficult it is to get him to talk. So I'm so happy and proud to have my good friend Adriano Lima here on the podcast with me. Thank you so much for doing this with me, brother.
Pleasure. It's my pleasure, bro.
I have to say, I missed you. And I don't even know. I'm so excited just to talk to you and know that I have your attention for 1 hour because we're always running out of the mats or in the mats whenever we talk. But this time we can really sit and enjoy a good conversation.
Yeah, definitely. It will be a pleasure. And we are always in a hurry, but now we have plenty of time. So
yeah, man. And it's crazy. Like I was just saying before we started, this whole pandemic, this whole phase has changed life so rapidly and dramatically in 2-3 months that we never imagined. Like in such a short period of time, perspectives will change. Look at the whole world. US is going crazy right now. Our region is in lockdown. You know, the most trendy area in Middle East, full of tourism, is now quiet. Our lives have changed, but this is also applied to social media. But I don't know, man. I'm excited for the future. How about you?
oh, definitely. I mean, I don't know what to expect because everything is happening so fast and suddenly things change. So I mean, it's kind of I don't know how to explain properly, but before this pandemic, we used to plan things and
Yeah.
know exactly what's going on and plan
Mm,
a better strategy. But now we can't plan. We just have to
yes.
wait and react.
Yeah. I think that's a very interesting state to be in. Like for people who are not used to being in a confrontational situation, most people living a normal, very relaxed life. They have their savings, they plan their future, they never get into like a martial arts environment, right? To them, this is adrenaline, this is fight or flight. This is not, they're not used to these muscle memories, right?
True. I believe who practice martial arts, especially jiu-jitsu, have an
Yeah.
advantage at this moment
Mm.
because we know how to pass through difficult situations. We know
Yeah.
how to survive. We know how to be patient and wait because we know there is always an exit. There is always an escape.
Yes.
So I believe jiu-jitsu players now has an advantage.
Man, this is something I love. Like, I learned it on the mat and it applies in real life. And you hear it so much. Like, you hear the 5,000 documentaries with Henzo Gracie repeating the same line, Jiu-Jitsu changed my life and my life is Jiu-Jitsu. But the problem is he can't say anything else because it's so true. Like in Jiu-Jitsu, you'd be in a bad shit position. You feel like that's it. I'm about to tap. Then somehow you feel with your body, there's an opening. And now you go. And like it applies to life because life could be so shit. The pandemic, closed, lockdown, you feel financially you're screwed, everything. And then you feel an opening. You see online growing. Maybe my skill in something that I was not doing can save me. Let's go. And like if you have the jiu-jitsu mindset, it can really save you.
That's true. That's true. And you know, at the beginning, jiu-jitsu, like for example, beginners jiu-jitsu, they only behave as by instinct. You know,
Yeah.
so and they don't succeed at that
Wow.
much in the beginning.
Yes.
So as soon they develop and they get experience, they start to think before act. So what's the best way? Why should they go there, not here? So I believe experienced players, experienced jiu-jitsu players, they can perfectly know where to go or where to not go in life, especially at this moment because it's a
Yes.
challenging moment. But so that's why I think jiu-jitsu is very important for every single person because it gives you an how can I say essay about life. So
Yes.
if you experience something in jiu-jitsu, it
Yeah.
you will for sure experience something similar in life. So jiu-jitsu really give you some skills to deal with the situations in life,
Damn,
in real
bro.
life.
So well said. So well said. You're right. Like when a white belt comes in, they're running on instincts, and 90% of the time it leads them to get tapped. But like as you develop and calm down and understand that you're gonna get difficulties, you're gonna face it, that's when you really start learning. And so many people today are living in instinct mode. And you see it on the news, throwing shit at stores, trying to steal, trying to this because they're financially screwed. Their solution is to steal. They're living on instinct. It's really a difficult time. And what I find really interesting about you, Adriano, is because day one, I promise you, I started this podcast. I made a list, and in the top 10 names on that list was your name.
Oh,
I knew I had to talk to you because every time we talk for 30 seconds, there's such a valuable conversation, and it feels it's always too short for me. But something interesting, when I looked for you to do this podcast, I couldn't find you. Like, shit, what happened? Go on Instagram, go this, and I had to reach you on WhatsApp. What happened? Why did you go, that's it, I'm done with Instagram?
well, with all this pandemic, we are all having a lot of time free,
Yeah.
and I was trying to focus myself on my reading and on my studies, and I wasn't able. I was procrastinating a lot, especially in social media,
Okay.
and I feel, man, I'm in touch with my family. I'm in touch with my friends. The valuable people are reachable. So I don't want to waste my time procrastinating on social media. If I can like produce, if I can learn, if I can develop myself as a human, especially as a human, but also as a professional. But
Yes.
I mean, that's the number one thing. I was like, at least I'm trying. I
Yeah.
don't know if I will succeed. I want to succeed on it. I want to
Sure.
be able to manage everything well,
Mhm.
social media, real life, and so on. But for a while, it's been good for me, and people that I love is not missing me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's been good for me. I
So,
can't complain, and
do you recommend people to do this? Do you recommend people to try just quitting social media for a few weeks to see?
oh, definitely, man, definitely.
Mm.
I feel really like, I mean, kind of free. I don't have to pick my phone every single time to see text or post or people commenting or
Absolutely.
no. I just do my readings. I'm reading so much. I'm watching documentaries that I love. I'm watching my
Amazing.
anime, Japanese cartoon that I love as well. So I'm
Oh
I'm I'm
no.
having fun with myself. Yeah.
I didn't know you watch anime. Okay, we have a new door to open together. I love anime as
but
well.
old school. I'm old school. I'm watching things from
Oh
like
hell yeah.
80s and 90s. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah. Listen, what's interesting is like we were talking about this earlier today. I went through a phase last summer and I posted on Instagram on my story. I don't know if you saw that. And I'm like, listen, I need to take a break. I need to understand what this social media thing is. I feel like it went out of control. It's creating this fake image. Everybody's trying to showcase something that's not real. And I admitted that me myself, I kept trying to want to look at the better side to project. I didn't like that feeling. So I'm like, that's it. I dropped my Instagram and I switched to a Nokia so that I cannot have a choice to go to social media. The hilarious thing, I'd be in the car with my wife. We're going somewhere. We stop. She's going to get something, or we stop on a traffic light. I hold my Nokia and I look at it. It's like a habit to hold the phone and look to check for. But I'm like this ugly thing. There's nothing there. It took me 2 weeks to detox, to not reach for my phone. It's a habit. It's very weird.
And the algorithm, the way they say the algorithm is so intelligent,
Oh
then they
yeah.
keep bringing us to the social media, giving us new things, giving us
Yes.
things that we like, that we enjoy. So we are always like looking at it.
100%.
So
100%. And if you're an ambitious person, if you're somebody trying to achieve something in life, it can interrupt it because this algorithm is studying your patterns and behavior to distract you and make a decision that you would have not made, which is to purchase something you don't need. And that will always derail you from the path, from what you're trying to achieve in life.
yeah, so bringing this to jiu-jitsu reality. So in this word of
Mm.
algorithm word, we are white belt. So we are going by our instinct. We are going by
Yes.
instinct. So these
Yes.
people who are black belts, they are
Uh-huh.
just playing with us. The way
Mm.
we black belt play with white belt, just guiding and putting the way we want. These people are doing the same with on social media. So I didn't feel very safe, and so that's why I feel like I'm still white belt. I have to know my limits, so better don't
Damn.
go further. So I took a break until I realized well how it's going on and how the better way to approach in this virtual world. So
So you quit before the blue belt.
definitely.
Man, it's crazy that you make that comparison because it makes so much sense. There are a bunch of black belts behind computers sweeping us and tapping us, and we don't even know. We don't even know we're tapping. We faint. We don't have time to tap. they catch us immediately. Shit, man, that's scary. But that's the thing. I feel like you're absolutely right. Like when you get that time away from this world, it gives you this opportunity to refocus on things that you didn't want to do, you felt were too difficult to do because you see everybody is on it. You look on social media, everybody's doing something. Maybe they're not, but they make it look like they are. And you always feel like, man, I feel like I'm not doing enough. And that's why you get this low self-esteem in return. Rather than getting motivated, you get a low self-esteem and you're like, fuck it, let me just see what they're doing and wait to see what happens. That is the circle.
True.
Absolutely crazy, man.
And yeah, as if we don't realize our position in this virtual world, we'll be just like a doll in their hands, like just also.
But
I prefer like.
You know what's really interesting, Adriano, is since you've not been on Instagram, let me update you.
Yeah, please.
What has not been happening is people stopped posting holding hands on the edge of the mountain. They stopped posting their pictures on the yacht. They stopped because there's no more of this shit. And you realize when a person's locked at home, they don't have so many pictures that they want to share. Right? It's not as amazing as they once made it seem, because if their life was so fucking amazing, they'd be taking pictures right now. They're not.
Yeah.
Nobody's holding hands at home. They're probably beating the shit out of each other because they're not used to it. So this is something that's important for people on social media to pay attention. Everybody is just forwarding what's happening in the world. Nobody is showing much of their own lives anymore. And it's a lesson to learn, because I think that we as people, as society, kind of lost our way in the last 10 years with the rise of data, online, internet, technology. Like we are lost in information. Now, this can apply with Jiu-Jitsu, and we're going to get into that, I'm sure. But you know what I mean? Like when there's so much information, so much access, you also lose momentum because you just don't know where to go anymore. Rather than having one path, one way, focus, dedicate. Now it's like, there's an instructional, footlocks, triangle, flying triangle. And like, where do you start now? For a new person doing Jiu-Jitsu, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, indeed. So I believe the answer is the way we've been doing this for all this time, like having a master.
Yeah.
If you have a master, a professor, you just like it makes easier for you, because you if you have something, if you have some question, doubts, you just bring to your master and ask him what his opinion, what you should do or not. So that's why I believe it's essential you have a master. Master can like really it makes it literally makes difference in a jiu-jitsu player. So
I believe, and that's the thing, like adopting that mentality these days and finding the right master. Everybody's trying to find the perfect master. Everybody's trying to find the right way, techniques, secret techniques, and they're losing sight of what you're saying, the old school martial arts. And that's something you have in spades. Before we go into all that detail, Adriano, there's something that I don't know anything about, which is your past. Like, where did you start? Why did you start Jiu-Jitsu? Can you share that a little bit with us?
Yeah, sure, definitely. It's a family, it's a kind of family thing. My uncle, as you know, is a master beater. And when I had like 3 years old, my father, his brother, took me to his gym. So since then, I'm training jiu-jitsu since like 3 to 4 years old.
Holy shit.
At that time, I didn't know. Yeah, at that time, I didn't know what I was doing there. But if my father told me to go, I wouldn't say anything. I just kept going.
And your father was
all my life
training?
No, my father tried when I was like 15, 16 for a few months, but he gave up right away. My father's a musician. He has a samba band back in Brazil. And
whoa, nice, colorful background, man. You've got like killers and musicians in your family. This is a very talented family. Okay, so you start at 3 years old. You're playing. You're having fun. Did you want to go jiu-jitsu, or were you just listening to your dad?
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing there. Honestly, to be honest, I was just going like I'm going to the school, taking the school, taking the gym. I'm just going, I just doing what my parents wanted me to do. And it was my whole life. I felt really comfortable at the gym, and school for me was kind of mandatory thing when I was like a teenage. I was like, I have to go to school. Yeah, I have to go to school. I was doing well. I never failed. I never did. I was really well in school. But gym was like something after 12. I wanted to go because there I was beating people, and I feel really like great, like beating people, because in the school I wasn't one of the best students. I was the average.
I see.
Yeah, but in the gym was like, here I can be one of the best. So
were you athletic at that age? Like, were you always an athletic kid?
Yeah, I was always skinny, but I was very athletic. I wasn't the strongest, but I was very flexible, and my stamina, my endurance is like it was always good.
Okay.
So, and I was really dedicated. One kid like was absent for weeks. I was there every single day.
Wow.
So I
And you
commitment
never
since.
stopped. You never stopped.
I mean, I stopped like for example weeks during the exams in the school and so on. I
Yeah.
had to like focus on the school, but in back in time, the season in jiu-jitsu season was like very short. We had like
Uh-huh.
a regional
Yes.
competition and Brazilian competition, and then the words back in time was
Uh-huh.
in Brazil, the words, and
Uh-huh.
that's all we had at that time. That's all we had at the time. So I just have to focus on these few months, and
Okay.
then I was like free to be a normal kid, but I was
Nice.
always committed. And
And all this time it was under Master Beta in his gym.
yeah, all my life,
Wow. Okay, this is like an intense
life to
environment.
death.
Like Master Beta
Yeah.
is the like not just jujitsu, it's MMA, fighting, bare fist, everything. So you were exposed to all of this from 3 years old. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense now to me why you are who you are. But the interesting thing, Adriano, is that like you really felt connected and dedicated. And I think today you're one of the most guys I know in jiu-jitsu that has this, how can I say, like a samurai mindset around jiu-jitsu. You're very committed. Like when you were a kid, did you know this was what you wanted to be? Or was it just always just a hobby?
It was something that it's the only thing I loved to do in life when I was young. You know?
Okay.
And I was not very skilled. I have friends until now since my childhood
Hmm.
that they're very skilled, and I learned a lot from them.
Hmm.
It was not my my best thing.
Okay.
I mean, but I was committed. I was
Mm.
there every single day. I was doing 2 classes a day. Even it was a 13, 14, I was doing adult classes just to
Wow.
take the positions. And you know, I was always exposed. I was always exposed to like different kind of partners, and
Mhm.
I knew that I loved that so much. I didn't have plans, you know, a long term.
Mm.
I was just trying to develop myself at that time, you know, in a short
Yes.
term, what I could do to be better in the short term. I was always focusing on that. And you know, I thought I knew that I could be a good fighter,
Wow.
but
Did you compete
yes,
at that age? Like in the teenagers, did you compete?
yeah, my first competition was with 6 years old.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to compete before. I asked my uncle at that time when I was 5 to
Yeah.
compete. He didn't let me compete. I was really like upset at that time. Like
Whoa.
everybody's competing, why not
Whoa,
me?
man.
I was too young. So with
Wow.
6 was my yeah.
Were you one of these cute kids doing like uchimata and cute things, or were you like killing the other kid?
Yeah, no. Double leg, pass guard, mount.
Oh shit! Oh
That's the game.
shit! Okay, man.
Straightforward.
Oh damn, man. I like it. You had a plan since you were 6 years old. That's crazy. Uh,
Yeah.
you you never played like football. You never got interested in other sports. It was just jujitsu.
Yeah. Football as a Brazilian, you know, we're all
Yeah.
playing in our free time in school and so on.
Okay.
I tried when I was 12 years old, football like academy school. I tried to learn some football,
Okay.
but I wasn't good. So I just like that's not for me. I'm wasting my
Nice.
time
Nice.
here. I could be in the
Okay.
gym training, not here in the field playing soccer. So,
Man, I like that you were focused from childhood, and that's the thing. Like with your jujitsu focused on that, did you feel like a badass, or were you always introverted? Like I feel, because for me, Adriano is a very gentle, humble, quiet person. Were you like that as a kid?
yeah, even worse, as you can
Even
see. I
worse.
was shy. Yeah, I
Oh
was
no.
really, really shy.
But even you
Yeah, I was really
kicking
shy.
ass, training with adults, you were still shy. It didn't give you like this boost.
No, because you know there is always someone better than you. There is always someone that beats you every single day in training.
Wow.
So I was always like hustling to be better and better. I was never satisfied with myself. Never ever. Until now,
Wow.
I'm not. I'm still develop myself. I believe this life. You know, that's life. Life is
Yeah.
there is no it's endless. We can't stop learning. We can't stop developing. We have to
Yes.
learn till last day of our life. And
That's
this is
very true.
what I believe. You know.
That's very
So
true.
I was
But
always
you,
like that. When I was a kid, I was really, really shy, much more than now.
oh wow, more than now. Okay. So the thing is, the reason I ask this is because like when you put that much pressure on yourself to always feel like somebody's better and I need to get better, I need to get better. It's not, you don't feel like it's a stress that sometimes limits your potential?
True. That's
Yeah.
that's very true. I didn't know at that time. I was
Mm.
such a hard worker at the gym, such a hard worker.
Yeah.
And when I went to the competitions, I couldn't produce half what I was doing at the gym. The competition was so stressed and so
Yeah.
like obsessed with the doing better and better that I couldn't do half what I used to do in the gym. So
That's
my
incredible.
partners, my friend always said, "How can you fight like this in the gym? You are like killing everyone." you
Yeah.
know so I just didn't know. It took me a long time. I mean, only after a black belt I could find out that it was
Wow.
a issue. And
It is something that you had to channel your energy in a different way before the competition, right?
yeah, true. I mean,
Mm.
because at that time I was trying to prove myself, you know
Mm.
and nowadays I know that I don't have to prove myself. I
I
just have to go
see.
there and have a fun, do what I
I
love to
see.
do.
I
So
see.
no pressure at all.
It's funny because
Once
there's
I
so many people. There's so many people hearing this right now that I'm sure now relate with you, because this is a pain point for a lot of talented guys in jiu-jitsu. It's just timing. It's until they develop a certain mindset. But so many guys in the gym, they're having fun and training hard, so they do well. But when they go to the competition, it's almost like they're not having fun at all. They're there
Yeah.
almost like a kidnapped victim, and it doesn't come out the same way as it comes out in the gym, right? So what made you get to a point where you kind of got over that? You're saying black belt?
Not the belt itself. I mean, I spent few years in black belt in Brazil, but not competing at a high level. I was
Okay.
like, I just had completed my university. It was like a kind of point of my life, very like, you know. So, but when I came here, when I moved to UAE, I could focus myself on sports, and I put
Uh-huh.
in my mind, I put in my head, this is what I'm gonna do for life from now on. So
Uh-huh.
I have to be one of the best I can.
Like
So I
always.
start to focus on myself. Yeah.
Nice.
So, but as well, I had two surgeries here on my knees here in
Mm.
UAE. So I spent like almost three and a half, like rehabilitating and so on.
Sure.
So it took me one of the best years of my life, like between 25 and 29. So most
Yeah.
of the athletes are, are doing well at this age. So I had to realize I came back to fight in a master, from
Yes.
25 to 30. So
Yes.
I said to myself, I don't need that pressure anymore. What
Hmm.
did what did I get? I get injuries, and I get what did I get? So
Mm.
I had to change my mind and in a way to have a fun again in life. Same fun I
Interesting.
had when I was a kid. So the
Yes.
age, the experience, and surgeries and all of these injuries
Yeah.
gave me the experience to change my mindset
Amazing.
to a healthy mindset.
And it's amazing because this is around the time, like, I don't know your past from, like, I know you maybe from 29 or 30. That's when I first met you, I think. But as I recall you, past that point, you started performing really well in competitions. Like, every time I see you, you're a killer. And it seems that maybe this mindset broke those chains free and made you enjoy the role and made you get like, because you're super creative, you're scary in the training. Like, when I roll with you, I know I'm gonna be in pain because you're not only athletic and sporty, it's whatever I'm thinking, whatever I'm trying. Of course, my level when I last rolled with you is way below yours, but even at that point, it's just shut down. All the roads are shut. And Adriano's playing his game, and I'm a hostage in this role match. So I mean, I feel like your jiu-jitsu in the mats at least, and then I saw you compete a few times. You seem to be enjoying it a lot more.
Definitely. You know what I miss the most is being on the mat training,
Yeah,
but especially competing.
yeah,
Nowadays, I'm in love with competing. I like to be
nice.
there, surrounded by that all of the people. Like
Yes,
I like to walk around and see people like warming up, people like
nice.
stressed, and like people discussing techniques, discussing strategy before. I like to be in
See,
that environment. That's I used to say to my friends, that's the way I have fun. People go out, people go clubbing. I go to competitions. this is my way of
Right.
having fun, you know.
And are
I,
you
I
like, you're studying people, you're seeing how they react, what they do? That's your like your hobby?
yeah, I
I like
love it.
that.
I mean, I like it very much, you know. Competition, I missed it. I missed it a lot.
And we all miss the scene of not just competition, just being around an environment where people are trying to get better, right? Because now you're alone, you're not around people trying to strive. You miss that feeling. But okay, so let me just take a few steps back. You studied university, so you continued high school, you studied university. What did you study?
Nutrition. I'm a nutritionist.
Oh, in university. Whoa. Okay, so like
Yeah,
professional level nutritionist.
yeah. I compared. I did it everything in 4 years.
Oh my God.
So
So in another life, you'd be right now somebody fat, overweight. Adriano, what do I do? And you'd make a menu like this was the route you were going in life before you decided to come here?
yeah, true. If
Okay.
I'm not here, I would be working as a nutritionist in Brazil, definitely.
I see. And did you ever work as a nutritionist or was it university straight to UAE?
Almost. I
Oh,
had uh, I had two opportunities
okay.
to work as a nutritionist, but I was always like helping friends, you know, family
Hmm.
to get a better shape and so on.
Okay.
And but I work only. I mean, I graduated in 2008. Yeah, 2008, and I moved to 2011. So
Okay.
at
Three
that time, the
years.
nutrition was not. Yeah, at that time, nutrition was not that like trending like now.
Sure.
Now it's totally different than before.
Yeah. It's
So I
amazing.
was struggling to get a job.
Man, it's amazing that you say that. Like, really, if you look now, people are truly valuing their health, nutrition,
Yeah,
fitness, mobility, physiotherapy. In 2008, or like just 10 years ago, 2010, 1 in 20 people you talk to will know what macronutrients is. Everybody, like, what? Counting calories? God, get out of here, right? Now, today, everybody's doing this.
you know, basically nutrition was for like hospitals,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just for hospital people, healthy people. They don't. It was not interested in nutrition. No.
I was the same, bro. Like I did not look into nutrition until I felt like that's it. It's an emergency situation. And like around that time I made this revelation. I'm like, man, we live our lives. We know so much about Cristiano Ronaldo, what gel he uses, what car he drives. We know about the Ferrari we like, the BMW, how many cylinders, but we don't know what goes into our body. Like we don't know how our body works. We don't know anything. And to me, it became like, why did I never ask these questions? And why aren't we taught this when we're kids? This should be before math. This should be before English. We just need English to learn that because it's life or death. It almost sounds like they don't want us to know so that we can stay lost. But how important is it for everybody listening and everybody in general to really understand how their body works and nutrition?
It will change the way you see food,
Yeah.
you see exercise, you see yourself. I
Mm,
mean, I can say I'm a different person after the college, after the university.
mm,
I see food in a different way. You know, I don't see food like to satisfy myself as most of the people do. Like they just want to fill up the stomach and that's all.
yeah.
I see a different way. You know, especially as an athlete, I
Yeah.
was always looking for nutrients that could help me to perform better.
Hmm.
So, and I know things are I can I can get benefit in the long term. So I
Yes.
have to stick in that routine for a long period of time.
Mm,
So that's the way I believe you will see food after you study about your after you study about your body and nutrients of
hmm.
food. So you will see the food as a fuel, you know,
Yes.
as a gasoline. So which
Yes.
type of gasoline I need now? So
Yes.
I'm before I go to sleep, what I need to sleep better, before I go to work to concentrate, before to work out, what I need after workout. So I see food this way
Yeah.
nowadays. I'm just managing proper food regarding
Man,
what I want.
that sounds like such a nice way to be able to like it's to me even today it's a difficult concept like to think of food as purely nutrition and gasoline. I've been conditioned since I was a kid that food was a reward. You know, for my birthday it would be KFC, McDonald's, like in the Middle East in the GCC when KFC, McDonald's and Burger King and all these opened, this was like going to a five-star restaurant. Like for your birthday that was where you go, used to like almost like reserve a table. We were like that growing up here. So I was brought up with this attitude that food was a reward. was a surprise, was always attached to these feel good. So whenever you feel sad, you feel tired, you use food to make you feel good rather than to supply you with gasoline. So a lot of
Mhm.
people have this relationship with food. How can we break that chain? How can we just خلاص, like get rid of that mentality that food is not for fun, it is not for pleasure, it is for functionality? Do you have any advice for this?
Well, nowadays we have I mean, psychologists, therapists, and I, t- I really want I really want to say to whoever wants to know what's going on in, in their minds, like looking for a specialist.
Yeah.
But my personal advice is, I'm not a psychologist, but
Yeah, yeah, just
I
advice, yeah.
yeah. So, but I really I really recommend people to visit a therapist and the psychologist. I mean, nowadays society needs
Yes.
therapists and psychologists because
Especially
our
nowadays.
yeah. So
Yeah.
about the food, what I can say, uh, it's um, so because I was always into sports and so on, but my personal experience seeing people behaving like in a way that I don't behave,
Hmm.
it's challenging me because I'm trying to feel what they feel, and it's quite like difficult for me because
I see.
I never passed by that situation. But I believe nowadays we have a lot of ways to learn, like YouTube, Google, whatever. So I really, I really want people like to study more. Once you
Yes.
knowledge is freedom. So once you study, once you know what's going on with you,
Yes.
you will like you break the handcuffs, so you will be free. So I believe
Perfect.
knowledge. We must study. We must know what's going on. We must know that whatever doesn't matter what I say, what you say, what anybody say, but you have to go there and research by yourself and
Absolutely.
see with your eyes how you should work, how your body should work, or you know,
Yeah.
I believe knowledge is the key. You have to looking for knowledge.
Man, that is extremely true. Do you read a lot of books?
Yeah, I'm being reading more than I used to because now I'm
Sure.
having a lot of time. I
Sure.
really like.
That's the thing. Like when you say knowledge is key, I agree with you. Like even like you're saying you studied nutrition, but you cannot find the empathy to people who feel that because you never felt it. When you study and you read psychology books, like for me, Adriano, my game changer in life wasn't when I studied nutrition, wasn't when I like tried to get into an understanding strength and conditioning. This when I read psychology, human psychology, and there's two huge books. One is The Social Animal, and another one is uh, Social Animal and Emotional Intelligence. Once you read these two books, you understand that we are not so special as we thought we are, and we operate based on cues. So if I feel sad, right? And then somebody does a birthday party for me and brings a big juicy chocolate cake, and I eat it and everybody's smiling and clapping, the cake did not feed us to make us smile and clap. It's just the smiling and clapping came with the cake. Every time I eat cake, there's smiling and clapping. So now I might feel sad, I might feel normal. Cake comes in, everybody's smiling and clapping. I feel better because around people, if 10 people around me are smiling, there's a chance that I'll start smiling too. It's just human psychology. And then I make the connection. When I feel normal and I want to feel happy, bring in a cake. But you don't have to have the people around you anymore in the future. Now, just the cake alone gives you the same feeling as the people around you. And that's how the brain works. If you just read these psychology books, you realize how much of a mousetrap some of our daily life habits are. And this is what really changes things for people. But what other books do you read? Like, what kind of genre? Is it psychology? Is it history, martial arts?
Yeah, just moving back
Yeah,
about what you say.
please.
It this this reward that
Yeah.
we are used to have, it comes even before we are like self-conscious about ourselves. Like when we are like a newborn or a baby,
Oh,
every
yeah.
time we cry, they give us food,
Mm,
and they don't our parents don't even know why we are crying. So
mm.
maybe
Yeah.
we're not like hungry, we're just like need some attention of, but they don't know. So since that time we are like teaching we have
Conditioned.
been teaching, conditioned to have food. Once we like feel upset with something, with anything, just give
Yes.
food. So it's like unconsciously, it's like it's stronger than us, as we can say. So to break this chain is like, it's like, it's knowledge. Only knowledge can do this. So
Yeah, I mean, it's just hearing it and thinking about it makes me think, damn, like it goes that far back, but it makes me feel free. It makes me feel like it's possible to rewire, reprogram, because just like they programmed it into me, I can program it out of myself, but you need knowledge to do this. Um, that's why I was wondering, for me, if I was to want to get to know somebody, if they don't read at all, it'll be very difficult, but I can assume that they're a person whose mind changes quickly. But if I go and I meet somebody who has a library, it doesn't have to be a book library, it could be audiobook library, and they give me just 5 minutes to swipe through their audiobook library, I will have a good idea of what kind of a person they are, right? Do you agree with me on that?
no, that's true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
We're an accumulation of the knowledge we gained in life. And sometimes the books that we read are more valuable than all the years in school, because a person is taking his whole life experience on one subject and giving it to you in a way that he needs to make money. So he has to sell it in a way that's understandable and enjoyable. Rather than school, you're forced to sit 8 hours per day in front of a teacher. This guy, no,
Yeah.
he knows if you don't like the first 10 pages, you're going to throw the book. So
Sure.
I've gained a lot from it. And that's why I'm asking you, like, what kind of books do you like? So I can get to know the mind of Adriano a little bit.
Well, I I wasn't a good reader when I was young,
Okay.
but in my adult age, I started to get into Dan Brown books, and
Mm,
I really like Dan Brown and fiction,
okay.
and all of the like symbology and
Wow. Okay.
art. He talk about symbology and art, and I like it. I'm really into conspiracy theory and stuff like
Interesting.
that,
Okay.
and I've been reading like all the Dan Brown books, and
Uh-huh.
I just read like weeks ago. I just finished a Brave New World, and it's like
Ah,
a
Brave in
dystopia.
Your World. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's such a. I mean,
Yes. So what's the biggest
I
conspiracy that you believe in?
well,
Deep, I know, but like just generally.
yeah,
Everybody has their
no,
conspiracy.
yeah. I what's going on nowadays?
Yeah.
I
That
believe that we have like an organization, like a globalist. I do believe in that, like
yeah.
some like organization or few people like above governments
Sure.
that like playing with us through the governments. They
Sure.
put the like presidents in charge. They put whatever they want in charge, and they manipulate us through them,
Yeah.
because that's people. I mean, it's hard to talk about these things because I don't know how it sounds
That
for the people, but people see nowadays that we live in democracy around the world, but we
yes.
vote for president and so on, but we don't vote for the United Nations. We don't vote for the whole
No.
World Health Organization. We don't
Yeah.
vote for organizations and companies that really control
Yeah.
the presidents around the world.
Yeah.
So it's not democracy because we are being controlled for people that we didn't choose to be there. So
Yes.
they just playing with us like black belts play with white belts, and we don't know what.
Yes.
We just feel
Yes.
that we are doing well, but
So
they're,
true,
they're
man.
just being played.
So true. And this is the thing, like these conspiracy theories are usually pushed aside because people don't want to trouble themselves with thinking about things that they have no control over. Like this is usually the response when somebody speaks about a conspiracy theory like this. The typical response is, ah, man, you're worrying about these things. What do we care? What difference does it make? What can you do about it? Because people get scared of these thoughts because they feel like they don't have control anymore. And this is where democracy plays a huge role in human psychology. Whether it's real or not, it makes us feel like we're in control and we like this feeling. But here's the thing, like, if we decide to believe in democracy and somebody is elected, right? And he is not the person I wanted, I have to go with him because I chose to be part of a democratic environment. So it's a genius way to get everybody on board, regardless who becomes chosen. And then when that person screws up and does some stupid shit, who do they blame? You, the voter, because you chose the guy. We gave you the
Yep,
choice. You chose the idiot. What do you want us to do? So it's
that's
a fun.
very true.
You can't deny that shit. So I'm with you on this conspiracy. There's definitely something beyond us. It is very complex, unfortunately. And I do feel in these days, with everything that's been going on, there's a rise in attention to conspiracy theories, because man, the world has lost its wheels in the last 3 months. We are driving on the axle. Like there's no more direction
Yeah.
anymore.
What I'm concerned nowadays is that uh, people are not uh, focusing in what makes them happy in life. You know,
Mm,
just just they are just living by instinct,
yeah.
as we talking about white girls, like these people on the streets and broken things and so on. You know, there are someone manipulating them very well, and they don't figure out that they are being just a doll in their hands. You know, I feel sad because the some people are losing control about their own lives. You know, they have let their lives in the hand of others to let you know. I feel sad for these people because in the end, the life is like a individual. Every single person has their own. So yeah, I have to be responsible for my own life, and
Yes.
I'm just letting people tell me what to do. I mean, I just
Yeah.
feel sad that, but only knowledge can.
It's funny, man, because you're right, but at the same time, if you talk to some people, they're content with being like that because
Yeah,
they like to be in the passenger seat. They don't like to drive. They want to open the window and let their hair fly. They don't give a shit. But I think from what you're saying, something that can be learned is when somebody picks up something like jujitsu, whether you want or not, it has some supplementary side effects. So if I'm learning jujitsu and I decide to commit myself to it, then somebody trying to sell me some negative thing for my health, for example, smoking, right? I do jujitsu. Jiu-jitsu is the spotlight on your lungs. Because if you smoke, there's no doubt. When you train jiu-jitsu, you're going to know. And when you stop smoking and train jiu-jitsu, your jiu-jitsu gets better. So it's a very clear reward system. So if somebody's trying to sell you cigarettes and you're a jiu-jitsu athlete like Adriano, I don't think anybody can sell you cigarettes. So this is a side effect of training jiu-jitsu. But if you don't do anything, you don't associate yourself with something, you become vulnerable to everything. They can attack you from a million angles. And these days, I feel like a lot of people have been, what makes me happy? Everybody in this quarantine is starting to work out. People who never, ever went for a walk are jogging now, right? Do you see this?
yeah, of course.
It's
Okay.
crazy, bro.
Yeah, it's good, you know. Uh, I've been watching uh, YouTube channels and news, and
Yeah.
I'm seeing people like more connected with themselves, more
Mm.
connected with their family, and
Hmm.
mm, talking like for hours with their kids, talking for hours with their spouse, their wives,
Yes.
and it's creating a real connection. You know, people are able now to really know each other
Hmm.
as they never could do because the life was in automatic mode and people were just
Yes.
living and
Very
not
true.
thinking. And nowadays, I'm seeing a lot of people. I was just watching a news today from Brazil,
Hmm.
and people adopting pets, dogs and cats. And one of the ladies and the news said, I'm adopting this dog because now we want to change our way of life at home. Before we was in automatic mode, just living like as a crazy, just going in and
Sure.
out. But now we are having time to know better each other, and we want to keep living in this way. And she said, I believe the pet, the dog, will bring us together and will
Nice.
make us sit around the dog or at
It's a
home and just
commitment, yeah.
talk about yeah. So I felt yeah, people are understanding that, people are connecting to each
Yeah.
other as never before. So I believe that's a very good point.
Man, interestingly, like you say, as never before, but if you think about it, our parents, not so far away, right? Or maybe our parents' parents even, that's how life was. Like I spoke to my father the other day. He's like, I cannot believe how fast the days are going. He's like, when I grew up, sunrise to sunset was a month. He's like, we did so much in our day. He's like, we used to pick from the farm, we used to fix the cattle, we used to go and eat. He's like, by the time the sun sets, I'm exhausted. He's like, today, the sun sets and it's bedtime and I'm not sleepy. I don't feel like I did anything in the day and it's just flying. And this is it. We're letting our lives slip by because we're going on autopilot. We're not focusing on our day to day.
Yeah, technology plays a big role,
Huge role.
technology, like, yeah.
Huge role. After this, I'm gonna send you an interesting video that I got, which like showcases the expected cycle of technology and how they're predicting that by around 2039, 2040, we might have a huge drop in technology use because currently, like, the whole point of technology now is data. Every time you check in on Instagram, every time you check in on Twitter, there's an algorithm studying you so that they know how to convince you, how to change you, how to make you buy something. By 2040, man, today, like when I'm sitting with my wife, like, when was the last time we had Dunkin' Donuts? Or when was the last time I had Krispy? Like, we'd say that to each other. I go on Instagram, I swipe up, it's a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. Like it's almost gotten to that point. Like the algorithm knows me better than me. So
Yeah.
in 20 years, it's gonna knock on my door. It's not gonna come on my Instagram. So I definitely think at some point there's gonna be a tipping point, and people are gonna be like, okay, that's it. Cannot do this anymore. Just like you, but maybe down the line.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I honestly can't like predict, but about my readings and documentaries I've been watching,
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm seeing the evolution of the technology, and by the time I believe that the technology is gonna get into our body, like vaccines, like it
Mm,
won't be anymore like biologic. It will be like nano technology in our
that's scary.
system, and yeah, that's I believe what's gonna happen soon. They will tell us, the big companies, the government, they will say us it's for our benefit, it's for our health,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
in the end we're gonna be totally in their control because they will have access of everything of everyone. So it's a bit
100%.
scary because they can play with us if they start to put things in our body just to pretend
Oh, yeah.
to check our health and see if you need anything. But I believe that
Yeah.
will be the future. In the future, everybody will have like a microchip and will be like our
New
our
passport.
ID.
Yeah.
Yeah, your passport. And also to help with the doctor at the hospital, you got a stroke, you got any problem, they will
Mhm.
just like read your microchip and say, oh, okay, that's it. So they know already everything what to do.
And
It's
just look
going to
at
be beneficial, but on the other hand, it will be manipulated very easy.
our pets, our dogs and our cats. They have it behind their neck right now. It's not so far that we have it. It's already been tested in pets. So the same thing. They swipe it. They know the dog's name, his date of birth, what vaccines he took. Maybe now because of coronavirus, we need to take this vaccine, and airports need to know we took it. So they had to put an RFID chip. It's a
There are
scary thought.
people, yeah, there are people. Sorry to interrupt.
No, no, no.
Just before I forget, because my mind I'm getting old,
Yes.
and forgetting things very easy.
Old.
I've been reading some articles and also watching some documentaries. People talking about the new vaccine about this virus,
Yeah.
and who is very into it is a Bill Gates, so the
That's
mastermind of the technology world. So people have been
terrifying.
talking about the vaccine, but not biological vaccine. The technology vaccine. So what he can do with
Mhm.
what he can do with the vaccine, we don't know. That's the thing. So in order to save the world with new vaccine,
Yeah,
somebody else will be able to control all the world. So, I don't
man.
know. I mean, I
I don't
hope it
want
doesn't happen. Yeah.
I don't want the guy that created Windows 95 to create something in my body. That shit's gonna crash. There's gonna be viruses. Like the company known to have the most virus attacks is going to help vaccine me from a virus. That's hilarious, bro.
Yeah. But
I don't
most of the
believe it.
words are like clapping. Most of the words
Exactly.
are clapping.
It's a crazy world we're living in today, no doubt, man. But like the thing is, like the concept of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you say, I'm never going to succeed, then you'll never succeed because you will position your mind in a way that will always gun you down when you have the opportunity to succeed. So I will never win a jiu-jitsu tournament. Next time you go into a tournament, if you've said that to yourself, then how the fuck are you going to win the tournament? You're convinced you're not going to. There has to be an element of convincing. So when you see our movies, the Matrix, right? When we first saw this movie, did you watch the Matrix with
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves and all? When I
Hmm.
first watched this movie, boom, man, like it was one of the greatest movies I've ever seen, and I kept watching and repeating it. And I'm like, no way, whoever came up with this is a genius. But today, it doesn't feel so far. It feels like it kind of made us get to this point. It prepared us almost for this point.
Yeah, that's very true.
Imagine getting a not necessarily stab in the neck, but imagine like Elon Musk. He created now Neuralink. You connect it with hair responders to your brain neuron receptors, and apparently the idea is that you can upload information to your brain at a much faster bit rate than our current human abilities. So we'll be like supercomputers, and that's what you're saying about merging technology with humans. So he actually talked about this on the Joe Rogan podcast, and Joe Rogan asked him, he's like, do you think we're going to be able to learn jiu-jitsu like that? Like, just like Keanu Reeves learned? And his response is, maybe. And that's fucking terrifying. That's terrifying to be able to upload. Oh my God, man. Whose brain would you want to model jiu-jitsu after? Like, if they were like, okay, we can do this, but we need somebody's brain to upload jiu-jitsu to the system. Who do you think's brain today would be a good brain to teach everybody jiu-jitsu?
Well, I mean, about jiu-jitsu itself, not concepts, not like as a way of life, but as, I mean, the pure jiu-jitsu that I admire.
Everything. Not you. Not that you. Everything. Roger Gracie?
Roger Gracie, yes.
Boom. I'd agree with you. I'd really agree with you. Damn, man, that'd be crazy.
Gracie for me.
I'd spend a good fortune on that upload. Just Roger Gracie, but I don't think they can make me his size. That's the problem. I'll have all the Roger Gracie, but I can't close my legs and close guard like him.
Yeah, so that's the point. Jiu-jitsu, I mean, it's so like particular, and it's very individual. We can't it's not like other martial arts. So jiu-jitsu, I believe it would be quite hard to do this kind of things. But I just remember now the last Dan Brown book, the Origin, and he was talking about it, about merging humans and technology.
Symbiosis.
And in the book, in the book he says like there will be a new kind, a new species in the world, and it wouldn't be the human. Will be the merge between humans and technology. That will be the new kind, the new species in the world.
If you look at human history, we are now considered Homo sapiens, the wise man. Before Homo sapien was Neanderthal. At some point, Neanderthals started co-breeding, and the Homo sapien, well, they believe it actually came from a different breed of people, whether for religion on the side. Okay, disclaimer.
Sure.
But they believe there was Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. The Homo sapiens were the advanced model. So they wiped out the Neanderthals. Almost totally. Totally. Today there's no more Neanderthals.
Yeah.
The symbiosis concept theory is if we reach symbiosis, then we will be the obsolete version. We will be the new Neanderthal. Because this new version, they're looking at us like in slow motion. The time it takes us to think and reply, they don't need to talk. Like the whole concept Elon Musk was saying is that we won't need to talk. We can communicate immediately because we will be able to connect on that level, and that's just a different ball game. You can't play NBA against these kind of people. Like they already know the game. They know where the ball's going to end up before you even think.
True. I mean, it's quite difficult to imagine a world like this, but I don't doubt that it will be the future very soon. Things are changing fast. We are experiencing now how things are changing fast, and I believe it's going to happen very soon. It will be good for one point because we'll be able to learn many languages and speak many different languages. It will be like kind of awesome.
There's things that are definitely a plus. Definitely. The ability to not go to school anymore and waste half our lives learning something when we can just get it. That's fantastic.
Yeah. If I have a chance, please read The Brave New World. I mean,
I will. It sounds like everything I like.
Yeah. It's a kind of book that is, they call it dystopy. It's a new kind of book. I'm into it now. I'm going to read now later the 1984. Is a different book, but the same concept. Very cool. They explain the present and the future in a fiction way.
Oh shit!
They can't say that they're predicting the future, but everything you read in the book is somehow happening. Happened before and happening at the moment. And so, if you like to make a parallel with the real life in the book, we already know where we are going. So, That's
Yes,
the
and
point. We are losing that. We are losing that individualism. We are losing that human thing, and we are being just one more in their farm. Just gonna be one more sheep.
but that's the thing, Adriano. Like individualism is the enemy of government. Like individual, forget government. Individualism is the enemy of order because individualism by nature leads to chaos. Human, like apes, monkeys, they can live together up to a number of 24, I believe. Like there's an interesting book I was reading. There's a certain number that they can live together. Beyond this number, they lose total focus. They lose total concentration on who's the leader, who's not, and it turns into chaos. Everybody starts wanting to become the leader. But below a certain point, they're okay with having a leader. Humans are kind of the same. We can operate, the number was 120. 120 people in a tribe can follow one leader without law, without religion, without fiction, without anything. Just by nature, we can follow. Above 120, we need some concept beyond our brain that needs to make us attach to a leader. Otherwise, we want to be individuals at that point. And this is the interesting part. It ties to everything. It ties to what we do as martial artists, having a master, having a professor, having a system around jiu-jitsu, a belt system. Because like everybody listening now is like, what the fuck does this have to do with jiu-jitsu? It has everything to do with jiu-jitsu, right? This is the point. We're both jiu-jitsu people and we need to be able to share non-jiu-jitsu information with each other to grow our jiu-jitsu. And I really feel that that's the way forward. But yeah,
That's
man,
the mindset.
yeah.
I'm reading a book at this name, Mindset, the mindset. So it's a mindset. I mean, we cannot stick in the same mindset. Like as you said before, like I want to do, I want to win, I want to succeed, I want. So it's a fixed mindset. You have to have a growth mindset.
Oh
No,
wow, yes.
I will overcome. I will do it in a different way to achieve what I want. I will find a way. I will learn. I will. So that's the mindset we need to have in life and in jiu-jitsu, of course. But jiu-jitsu is like I used to say that it's more isei, it's the correct word, isei of the real life. In
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu, we're gonna experience things that we for sure will experience in life. So
Oh
if
yeah.
you are learning how to deal with it with in jiu-jitsu, you already know how to do it in life. So
Yeah.
you will live lighter and better if you do jiu-jitsu.
Man, I totally believe it. Like I came to jiu-jitsu later in life after I've experienced quite a bit of life already. And then like when I'm doing jiu-jitsu and I go through it, I'm like, man, fuck, if I had this before I went through all of that, maybe I wouldn't have made some of the mistakes I did. Because a lot of the mistakes I did in life was because I rushed too much. I was overconfident in my ability. And usually in jiu-jitsu, when you're overconfident in what you can do, that's when you get your ass kicked. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, you come into the mats as a white belt. "Oh, I can take this guy on," and then you get fucked up. So for me, yeah, I can run this business, and then shit, you realize you cannot. So after jiu-jitsu, definitely my life changed. I take things a bit at a time. I have this white belt attitude, where learn from the guys that know what the fuck they're talking about. Be humble, be nice, so that they want to teach you. And then return the favor, like about the paying forward and sharing to grow the community together. Man, bro, I'm so happy, Adriano. I always knew we had potential to have 10-hour conversations, but we never tried. So now I believe it. I wanted to talk to you about your concept of martial artist. Because we messaged a lot before. We talked about the Book of Five Rings. We talked about samurai and things before. What does it mean to you to be a
Just
martial artist?
sorry, just
Yeah,
interrupt.
yeah,
I have you know about Musashi, the
yeah,
Ronin samurai.
yes.
Part. So I have his book. Like there are two volumes. I have the
Okay.
first volume is a rare piece of art,
Uh-huh.
and I bought it. I bought it when I was in the college, and I forgot about this book for years. And like a month ago, I was on Instagram. I see on Instagram, and I saw a guy, Jack McKenzie, and
Okay.
back in the States, back in the US. He was like, my reading for the this pandemic time. I have this book. I call my mom in Brazil. I asked
No
her to looking
way.
for this book, and she found. I'm so happy. Like
Oh,
I got that piece of like art in my hands, like the thick book. But next
yes.
time I'm to Brazil, I'm gonna bring it back and I will read it all because
You bought this
I'm
in college, in university. You bought
yeah
this.
like yeah more than 10 years ago. and I didn't finish
Wow.
that time. But now I'm gonna finish very very quick.
So you
Sorry to
always
interrupt. Just
you were, no, you were always attracted to this kind of mentality, this samurai, this.
when I was young, very much, very
Oh,
very much.
okay.
Bushido, Five Rings, Musashi, and everything.
Did you watch anime when you were younger?
Yep, a lot.
Ah,
Till now.
we're connecting. We're connecting the lines. Okay, wait,
Yeah,
hold on.
loyalty, all of these like principles in
Oh
martial arts.
shit. Okay, so which anime, like Kenshin? You know Rurouni Kenshin?
No, I'm sorry, I don't know about it.
Which
I was
which
watching.
anime?
I was like very into Saint Seiya, and
Okay.
there's a name in English. Uh, I'm watching again now anime called Yu Yu Hakusho. It's so beautiful. But
Wow, I
then
need to take these
the
names.
new, yeah, it's beautiful. Yu Yu Hakusho is beautiful.
Okay.
Is it's even either Yu Yu Hakusho and Saint Seiya is about their group of friends fighting for a common thing,
Okay.
and the loyalty and the respect and the like the love they have
Yes.
for each other and for
The
what they
cause.
are fighting. The cause is the most beautiful thing. I could bring this to life. I have two big friends, and
Wow.
they're all watching the same animes. They all like the same animes, and
Wow.
we we bring this to life. This loyalty and this feeling that we are brothers and
Yes.
fighting for the same cause in life, with principle. With
Yes. With ethics.
ethic. I mean, this one of the words and the things that I have in my mind every single time. Ethic, be ethic, and the work and the
Yeah.
family, at the gym, and the competition. We must work with ethic in all aspects of our lives.
Hmm.
So I believe that's the way we feel like connected to ourselves.
Yes.
Because who doesn't work with ethic can't sleep, can't sleep well at night. So I believe that's the way we can
Yeah.
like do well in life.
You're right. Like a lot of people that don't follow their instinct and their ethics, like a correct code, let's say, they end up living with a lot of regret. And regret is one of the most dangerous poisons because that can make you sick. That's what makes you mentally weak. That's what gives you diseases, I believe. Like, I find regret and stress very close brothers because the more you live with regret, the more stressed you become and the sicker you get in life. And it's coincidental, isn't it, that like anime culture came from Japan. And Japan is a very much ethical and code-based society, right? People talk shit about the anime, it's crazy, the octopus and I don't know what, and the crazy and the One Piece and all, but this anime connects their culture to a code. And every anime you watch is, like you said, a family, a team, or one guy that finds a home in a gym. Like my anime growing up is Hajime no Ippo. It's Knockout in English, the boxing one. And it's a kid that gets bullied as a young kid, and then he gets enamored by this amazing boxer that he sees running and jogging every day. One day he gets bullied, this kid in public, and the boxer comes and helps him. And then the kid says, I want to be like you. And he goes and he follows in that hole. Then it turns into his family. The gym becomes his environment. The coach becomes his master, the whole thing. This was me growing up watching this, you know? And I connected so deeply to this. And then he became a champion and their friends and their life. This is why I feel a part of Japanese culture, which makes them till today rooted in their ethics, their codes, right?
That's right.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Did you watch
And
this one, by the way? Hajime no Ippo?
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
heard about
Oh,
my
okay.
students in the school where I work. My
Yeah.
students, they love, they're addicted to animes. They every day talking about like the One Piece and
Yes.
Death Note and all of this. They are like
Yeah.
very into it. And
Yeah.
unfortunately I didn't have enough time to watch all of them because they
I
have like
know.
600 episodes. I started One Piece. I really like it, but I stopped in 100 episodes. Like 100 episodes, like I couldn't
Dude,
go
you know
further.
what the problem with these animes is? If I take a break, I don't remember where I stopped, and I need to watch 5,000 episodes to know where I stopped.
Yeah,
Fuck it, man. There's no point. I'll get lost.
that's true.
Crazy.
That's true.
Yeah.
I watched one on Netflix. I forgot. Unfortunately, I forgot the name, but it was like one season only, very short season.
Is it
But I
Titan?
loved, I can't say, but it
Okay.
was. I'll let you know later because
Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't
Sure.
know.
Sure.
But
Uh,
it was like the the idea was almost the same of the other. That's why I got into it.
I
Like
see.
I really like the culture. They taught me a lot when I was young
Mm.
about the epic because they always fight. The characters they're always fighting. They're
Yeah.
always fighting, but fighting with epic.
Yeah. It's what
Always,
makes them stand
always.
back up when they're on the ground and they're losing. That thing, that's the reason they started, makes them rise. I completely understand. I'm getting you now. Now I understand Adriano a little bit better. Makes sense.
So this culture, this anime culture, plays a big role in my education and
I like
in
that,
my
man. I
life.
respect
So
that. I respect that. Something else, Adriano, that we once talked about that I want to bring up again. Around the time Conor McGregor was becoming very famous and popular, right? Whenever I would have posted something to do with Conor McGregor, I always felt like you had something to say about it. Like you're like, fuck this, whether or not he was a good martial artist, I felt that you didn't like how he represented martial arts. Am I right?
yeah, it's totally right. As as a Brazilian, as a jiu-jitsu
Mm,
professor, player, or whatever,
mm.
I grew up in Brazil with this environment. MMA, it was before called as Vale Tudo in
Yes.
Brazil, and it's originally developed in Brazil. MMA is a Brazilian sport. We
Yes.
developed it, and why Brazilians, especially the Grace family, developed MMA, Vale Tudo, to prove to everyone that Jiu-Jitsu is the most effective martial art.
Yes.
So that's the only reason.
Mm,
And to prove that, the fighters had to beat others, martial
yeah.
arts, but also behave as a gentleman because they're representing Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes.
So that's how Vale Tudo MMA was created. So under this characteristic. So
Yeah.
nowadays I'm seeing these jokers and these people just aiming to get money. I don't blame them. Everybody needs money and so on. But it's not the players itself, but I believe the organization, the UFC itself,
Mm,
they are pushing players to behave in a way they can make more profit. And it's for myself, it's going a way that I really don't like because it's like harming the image of the sport has for us. The
yes.
Palitudo or MMA, it was developed to truly, like literally, to prove that jiu-jitsu is better than others. Nowadays, we know everybody knows jiu-jitsu. To be a champion, you have to know. Even if you're
Yeah.
not a black belt, you have to know jiu-jitsu. So
Yes.
it's not the point anymore. But it's still the point that MMA players, whoever is there fighting martial arts, they represent all of this heritage, all
Mm,
of the history. So as they represent all of these people can before them, they must behave as they used to behave. It's like as I can say, it's something you have to know, and you have to respect these people because without Helio Gracie, Carson Gracie, all of the family Gracie, they couldn't be there doing what they're doing for life.
absolutely.
So they cannot harm their image, behaving the way they behave. That's my opinion,
Yeah, it's
because
unloyal.
I feel sorry.
I mean, there's no
That's
loyalty
why.
in it. If you like start jujitsu, you train jujitsu, you
Gratitude,
become really good.
gratitude. Yeah.
Yeah, gratitude, absolutely better. Not loyalty. There's no gratitude in it. That's the thing because people have their perspective of what the point of life is, and a lot of people, like I was saying, in the last decade, we kind of lost the wheels of the car. Is everybody started focusing on money because the more money, the more you can travel, the more you can do and buy and consume. And fighters, they never really expected money. 30, 40 years ago, a fighter
Yeah.
that was fighting in his brain, I'm not going to get rich doing this shit. Most people thought they were crazy doing it, right? So they stuck
Yeah.
to the roots of fighting. When people started realizing there's money in the game, and this started from boxing, right? Boxing was the first sport because of gambling that showed that
Mhm.
big money can be done. And casinos in Las Vegas, they're like, man, they called it prize fighting in the beginning because it had nothing to do with who won the fight. It's because there was a big prize, and that was the
True.
money that was made. And so they realized if we get two guys and build a story, We get people to choose one side or the other, and that will make them bet their life saving. That will make them bet their child's next year tuition on that fighter. And we want that because that's how the house always wins. And that's boxing started this. But what happened? Fighters are like, shit, I want to be the next Muhammad Ali. Well, not really. Muhammad Ali was just on the bridge. He didn't make that crazy amount of money because of, the whole black and white issue in the States. But look at Mike Tyson. How much money did that guy make? Okay, he spent it, he did it, but he made a shitload of money. And today, Floyd Mayweather, all these guys. Yeah. So you get a guy like Conor McGregor coming into MMA, and he realized something. And by the way, notice, he was very close with the Fertitta brothers, who are casino owners, who run gambling. This is why they made the UFC. They don't give a shit about Vale Tudo. They don't give a shit about martial arts. They did this. They bought it for $2 million from the Gracie family because they knew this is a great way to gamble, right?
That's true. That's very true.
Another reason why they weren't so crazy about doing the UFC in the UAE, because we don't have gambling here. So they lose a lot of money. On-spot gambling is the biggest income for UFC. Nobody can convince me otherwise. So the whole point, the reason I'm saying
that's why that's why they keep running UFC even like without spectators, because people can still bet, can still gamble. Yeah.
That's the only reason. Why would they they're not getting tickets for entry. They're not getting, it just shows you how much they make from gambling. It's more than the tickets, more than the entry, the seats, the pay-per-view, it's the gambling. So, and by the way, they sold UFC to IMG, but the Fertitta brothers did not sell their gambling business. It's their business. Yeah. This is the genius, bro. They sold it for $4.5 billion, but not the gambling. Because that's where the big money is. And that's why they still run it, and Dana White is still in there. So, anyways, that's a little bit of UFC politics and drama. But the whole point, going back to what you were saying, is fighters got distracted. Fighters, they're not gambling. They're fighting. But they're like, fuck, I have a hard life. And most good fighters come from hard lives. Very rarely will you find a guy ready to bleed that doesn't have a hard life. Right?
Zaid, just one thing. Yeah. Can I ask for a break?
Of course. Sure. Sure, absolutely. No worries, man. There we go. That means we have an exciting conversation, guys. A little intermission. What time is it? 1 hour, 12 minutes. I'll have to cut that out in post-production. What's up, YouTube? How you guys doing? Muhammad, what's going on? My best coach. He is, man. He is. The time I spent in Al-Wahda, Adriano was coaching. We're gonna talk about Al-Wahda. Best believe it. Khalud, what's up, man? Ahmed Al-Gunaybi. Ahmed Al-Junaybi. You got an Egyptian letter there in your name, bro. Ipo. Ali, you watch anime as well? I didn't know about the gambling aspect. Man, Ali, it's all about gambling. Like literally, like boxing is all about gambling. Think about it. People don't pay billions to watch two people punch each other in the face. Right? They pay billions because there's gambling. Like this, it's just logical.
I'm back.
Welcome back, bro. So, yeah, like the conversation we were having was basically about fighters fighting for the love of martial art, and then now fighters fighting to get rich, which seems to be the modern trend. You see kids these days. They're not getting into martial arts anymore because of the Bruce Lee, the samurai, the martial artists like the Ursula Bitas, like growing up as a kid seeing Ursula Bita fight in Japan and stuff and like being holy shit. Bita wasn't making millions, right? But he was just showing what a man meant, what it means to represent what you believe in, your culture, your fight. Like there's so much amazingness in terms of manhood to that. But now, today, everybody's like Conor McGregor, walking into the cage, throwing money into the sky, Floyd Mayweather racking up the bills. There's almost no focus anymore on the martial arts philosophy, right?
That's very true.
So,
because
tell me.
At the beginning, fighters, they were representing any martial arts, Jitsu, karate, judo, anything. They had that. They go there like because they're mastering. You must like be a master in anything to get
Yes.
into. Nowadays, people are learning MMA. Like MMA became like a kind of martial art. You don't have to know anything. You go
Mm.
there and the gym and you learn MMA as itself, as an entity.
Crazy. Crazy.
So that's crazy. That's what we're getting now, this kind of behavior, because we don't have to be very good or black belt in anything. You just have to
Yes.
learn MMA. Like if MMA was a sport or martial art. So that's, I believe, the misconcept about the MMA itself, because MMA is not a sport. It's not a martial art. Judo, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, karate. These martial arts are martial arts. You
Yes.
know, and people are nowadays, especially the Americans now, back on
Oh
time,
yeah.
Royce Grace time, we will see the profile. Royce Grace representing jiu-jitsu, somebody else representing uh, kung fu.
Mm.
Cool, all right. And later on, representing wrestling with background in boxing, whatever. But nowadays, there's there's no more there's no
There's
more
nothing.
such a thing.
That's
I
true.
believe that's the point. We lost this connection with with the gratitude and with the behavior itself, because any single martial art will give you this kind of behavior: the
Yes.
gratitude, the loyalty, the respect, the ethic. But the MMA itself, the way we are saying nowadays, it just gives you like a chance for a better future for who's like hustling in life. So that's the
100%.
point. I believe that's the issue. Like Conor McGregor, like his MMA fighter, he doesn't. I mean, if I'm wrong, just please correct me. But I
Mm.
don't think he has any background. Like he's not like a black belt in something, and then he came to MMA to
He
fight.
he he
I
he,
don't know.
bo- he boxed for many years. His
Hmm.
first martial art was boxing, and he used to like have a coach dedicated. And then he started training under John Kavanagh, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and now he's a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. But like, he's not training it like people around you are training it. He's doing MMA and getting promoted as he
Yeah.
trains for fights. It's a different world, it's a different concept. Um, but man, like it's such a difficult, sensitive topic, and I'm glad to talk to you about it. You're the right guy to talk about it with. Is people, they get so passionate about MMA and not fuck. Now I'm even saying jujitsu, and they're like, man, my dream is to open an academy, right? My dream, like they want to be the martial artist lifestyle, but when they come to the day to open an academy, they realize you need to be a businessman and a martial artist. There has to be the two, otherwise your academy won't stay open. Like look today, most academies, they're not going to survive this, right? That's just the fact. That's because money is important. The question is, how much money do you need to be happy with your academy? Do you have to have 2,000 square meter mats? Do you have to have a big house, 2 cars? You know what I mean? Like, what do you have to be a martial artist today, you think?
Well, each single human has like different goals in life.
That's the
You know,
difficulty,
they
though.
just yeah, because you have to use your skills, your tools to
Mm,
achieve what you want in life. Doesn't matter
mm,
if you are jiu-jitsu professor, if you are engineer or lawyer or doctor.
mhm.
You have to have a goal in life. So you use your skills, your tools to achieve your goals. So I mean, it's hard to say what, but I believe happiness, whatever you want in life, you must be happy. You must find happiness, looking for happiness. If you're
Yeah,
not happy in what you're doing, change, please, just change.
yeah,
Looking for happiness in life. I mean,
yeah,
we don't need. Some people need a lot to be happy. Some people need very little to be happy. I believe every single person needs like just. I mean, uh, a happy, few people around, friends and family,
sure.
healthy environment. I mean, but depends. Every single person has different goals in life, but
Man, you
but
answered
the main
you
goal is
answered the whole question beautifully, actually. Like whether you see it or not, like the answer is happiness. You're absolutely right, because if somebody's going after money, thinking that when he gets the money he will be happy, and it doesn't matter how much money he gets, he'll never be happy. But if a person goes for happiness and that gets him money, great. But it doesn't get him money, he's happy. You know what I mean?
very true.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that statement. And that's the thing. Like you see again, referring back to Japan, uh, to them, their culture was built around being really good at something. It not for the money, not for any personal benefit, just to be good at something. I went to Japan once with a friend, and this is a funny little side story. Has nothing to do with martial arts, but it's relevant. We go and we meet his friend, and his friend is a bartender. But he loves his job. Like, I've never seen a bartender want to be a bartender as much as this guy. It made no sense. Why do you want to give people alcohol? Like, why are you passionate? And to him, it's not that. He didn't like the parties and all of this. His bar, he has a very tiny bar in Japan. It's his. Very quiet, very relaxed. And his concept is to sit and talk with the clients and make them the perfect drink. His goal is to make them the perfect drink for their personality based on talking to them. So his passion was to be the best bartender in the world. Like, in his mind, when he was talking to me, man, I have to admit, I was laughing. I took it a bit jokingly, but now as an adult, a little bit older, with some more experience in life, I respect it now more than I did back then. When I was 20, when I went at that time, and he showed me. But he doesn't care. The guy's not making a lot of money. It's a tiny place. He lives in a very small home. He watches his anime, sits and eats grocery foods. Like, he doesn't give a shit. He's living in his own world. And to him, that is his purpose in life. So simple, beautiful. It's difficult to find this outside of Japan, but I think everybody must travel to Japan once to understand what's possible, right?
Very true. Japan is my...
Did you go?
I've been there once to
Okay.
compete the Grand Slam. I spent only 2 days there, but it's my dream trip. No, if I one day in life, and then one in life is a place I want to like spend like a month just traveling around, going everywhere and living as a local. That's my dream trip, go somewhere, it live as a local. So
It's
that's
the right choice. Right choice, man. I hope you do that, man. I spent many months before getting married in Japan because I have this love for anime and Japanese culture. And then when I got married, my wife and I spent a bit more than a month in Japan. It's just we couldn't. We got a house in Kyoto, an old 500-year-old Japanese house. We got bicycles. We slept on the floor on the mattresses for one. Like, it was just fucking. I felt free, man. I felt like I broke free of all of these expectations. Have to have a nice car because Middle East. I grew up in the Gulf. You have to have the Nissan Patrol. You have to have the house. You have to have the Majlis. You have to. Nothing. It's just me and her. We're in an old house. At night, you hear the footsteps of the wooden shoes walking outside. Fucking peaceful. Nobody's expecting shit. I hope you do spend at least a month in Japan in the near future to experience it. It's beautiful.
I hope so. I remember, clearly now, the days I spent there. It's like, once I'm there, I feel really, really comfortable. Like, airports are all the same. Yeah. But once I reach the city and I could like take a metro by myself, I just Google it, just using Google, and I went anywhere alone by myself, talking to no one, and I could see the place I used to see in the cartoons. I feel like looks like I'm into the cartoons. It's like, wow, it's exactly the same. Yes. The tiny buildings, the clean streets.
Yeah, man.
And the couples walk in traditional clothes, the kimonos. Like, wow, I felt so comfortable. I felt like that's my place, I need to be here more for a while.
Because you've been watching this all your life, right? You had such a connection, man. It really is special. Really, really, Japan is doing something right. They're not perfect. They had their history, they had their shit, but they're doing something when it comes to society that is very right. We went to this monastery. We got this incredible tour guide. Again, a person who loves what they're doing. We got really lucky. Like, we get this lady, I found her online, to give us a tour when we arrived in Tokyo and some idea of the history. We want to know the old bridges and stuff. She was the most dedicated tour guide I've ever seen in my life. Like, she knew everything. So she takes us to this monastery, and when you go, you pick up this spoon and water to wash your hands before you go into the monastery. So I pick up the spoon, I wash my hands, I put the spoon back. She's like, excuse me, please come. She takes the spoon, she washes her hands, and then she picks up water, and she has a technique to wash the handle of the spoon before she puts it back. She's like, you must do this. You don't wash your hands only. The next person that comes must hold a clean spoon. So you have to wash the spoon, the scoop, after you're done. I'm looking at my wife, we're like, fuck, man. I felt like a monkey. I felt like like trash coming into a clean place. I'm like, man, I thought I was like etiquette, and man, you don't know etiquette until you go to Japan. These people know their shit, bro.
That's very true. In the metro, for example, in the metro there, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a library. You know, it's like
Yes.
a library. Nobody talks. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
and there is some signs like please don't use your phone, stuff like that. And I feel like "Man, that's my place. You know, for an
It's
introvert,
crazy.
Japan's the perfect place.
Oh,
You know?
100%. 100%. That's why they have so many introverts. They have a magazine for introverts, Adriano. Did you know this?
No,
How
I
to
didn't know that.
how to be an introvert. It's called Hermit's Magazine. Like
Oh, very cool.
the crab that hides. I'll
Uh-huh.
send you it afterwards. Fucking man, I love them absolutely.
I
Oh
showed
man,
it. I must go there with you, man. Definitely, we must find a way
100%,
to go there.
100%, man. Listen, I'm telling you, every chance I get to go to Japan, I take because every time I go, I learn something new. Like we have, I'll tell you something. You are this kind of person, so I will share this story with you and everybody listening. It's very special. We went to a monastery in Kyoto with my wife. This was one of the oldest and most famous ones. We didn't know this about Japanese culture. They believe when they die, you're born again, right? This we know, reincarnation. So the Shinto religion, they believe in reincarnation based on what you do in this life. If it's good, your next life will be better. If it's not good, your next life will be worse, right? You might be born as a chair. So they have this belief that you can follow a certain procedure to choose your next life. We were in this monastery, we're checking out. The tour guide again is telling us about everything. And then this lady comes wearing a shield, not a shield, a scarf with some writing in kanji on it. And she went to the priest there, the monk, and she was crying. Then the monk takes a book and he gives her a stamp and she starts bowing and bowing to him and crying. So we were so curious, like, why? What's going on? This is not normal. So the lady is listening, our tour guide, to the monk as he's talking to the lady. And then the lady almost is crying. Like our tour guide is almost going to cry as she's listening. So me and my wife were like, please, somebody explain what's going on. So she comes up to her, she's like, this lady, it's a very sad story, very emotional. This lady lost her husband and her son in an accident. We didn't understand exactly what the accident, but she lost them. And they have a belief in Shinto, if you visit every monastery by foot in all of Japan from north to south, and you have this, you wear this family kanji thing, like she's wearing the family emblem or something like that, and she has a book with the stamp of the head monk of every temple in Japan, and she walked it by foot. She wasn't young, so she walked all of it by foot, and we were lucky to be there on her last temple. So she got the last stamp. So when she dies, they bury her, or they cremate her, sorry, in that tobe with the book, and she can live the next life with her family. This is the concept.
Oh, man.
Bro, like, this is more than any American movie can ever think. Fuck Hollywood. Hollywood can't come up with shit like this. They copy Japan. So, like, to somebody like you, I share this story because I know you would really appreciate this because you have this mentality. I came back from Japan. Yeah, it's crazy, right? So I came back from Japan with a changed mind. Like I can't look at life the same way anymore. You realize, like, this bigger picture here, there's more potential in us than what we have.
Yeah, that's very true, man. You know, I was essentially because of martial arts, I was always very curious about Japan.
Yeah.
But Japan somehow they have a connection with my culture because the Portuguese people was the first Europeans to
Yeah.
reach Japan, and
Yeah.
I was like, we have so much. I mean, some we have links, you know, between our culture as a Brazilian and Japan. That not only the martial arts itself, but that's
Yes.
why I was so curious about Japan and about the way they
Very
live.
true.
And I'm so, you know, Japan for me, Japanese society is like something else. It's
Man.
something else. Like,
Not just anime, sorry, but jujitsu. Like jujitsu came to Brazil. Like we have jujitsu. Like, talk about
yeah,
gratitude to Gracies, gratitude to Japan. If if Mitsuyo
definitely.
Maeda didn't come, none of us would be here right now. We wouldn't be talking to each other right now.
definitely, definitely.
Crazy.
And these people, they can imagine at that time, like last century, a guy leave Japan to travel in America because they went like US and whole
Yes.
Latin America. They travel around. Can you
Yes.
believe at that time they were able to do this just to represent the culture and to spread their culture abroad and getting nothing, just for the benefit of their country, their culture. And I
That is
mean,
what
it's
they do,
such
man.
a
That is
beautiful
what they
thing.
do. It's
Such a
crazy
beautiful
because
thing.
like we look at all of this positive, but there's also another issue in Japan. There's a huge generation of Japanese that want to go and move to America, right? Because they're frustrated from the tight culture of Japan. So today you find a lot of youth in Japan leaving to go to the States. This is
Yeah,
something also close to my heart because I'm from the Middle East. And the Middle East now, okay, I have to say that the Middle East at one point was the pinnacle of culture. At one point, Islam, architecture, war, strategy, engineering, algebra,
it's
as- it was the pinnacle. And then we just lost it somehow. But today, the biggest issue I see is that we lose so much talent in the Middle East because they go to America. Because they don't believe
yeah,
they can be successful in life, whatever that means, right? Successful can be money or happiness. They don't believe they can be successful here. And this is something also important with Jiu-Jitsu. This is why I'm kind of trying to do this, to showcase what we have so that you don't feel like you need to go to Henzo Gracie Blue Basement in New York to become Jiu-Jitsu. Like right here, we have 50 blue basements, you know? You have to believe that you can be capable and successful anywhere. Right? If you cannot be successful here, you're not going to be successful in the US. It's just people have this
true. I
delusion.
mean, yeah, especially talking about athletes,
Mm,
the best athletes in jiu-jitsu, they came from Brazil and they
mm.
came from a very poor background
Yes.
with like learning from teachers that we don't even know.
Yeah.
Nobody know the first teacher, uh, for example, Marcelo Garcia first teacher. We nobody know the first. I don't
So
know.
true.
Pick any world
Yeah,
champion.
Braulio
They
Estima came
came
from
from
Hisifa, and he didn't have a
yeah.
coach. Like he had a blue belt teaching him.
So I mean, from this background, he became what he is today.
Yeah.
So any single person can be wherever they want. Just have to work consistently
Hmm.
with ethic. If
Yeah.
you work consistently and with ethic, you can reach anything you want.
I
You know,
believe that.
it's I mean, people, as you said, the social media and all of these things are have given to the people like a certain view of the world that's not the reality. We
Absolutely.
can we can achieve much more
Hmm.
just wanting from the heart. If you really want from your heart and you are able to do the work you have to do to reach your goals, you can do
Mm.
it. You don't
Yes.
need the best equipment, the best gym. you
Yes.
don't you don't need to have like a world champion as a partner to be a world champion
Absolutely.
as well. You just
Absolutely.
need you just need from deep of your heart that if you want, if you really want, you will
Mm.
achieve. But you need that. You need the power of will. Nobody will gonna give you. People say we can't teach hard. That's true. We can't teach hard.
Yes.
Or you have, or
Yeah.
nobody can teach you. So I believe nowadays, if we are able to connect ourselves with the our roots, our basic needs,
Yes.
anybody is able to achieve anything.
I think
Uh,
so. I
it's
think so.
it's like
That's
I can say by myself, like I grew up. My city is like Teresopolis. We have like a I don't know how many people we have here in UAE, but a lot. We have a lot of people working here, and we
mhm.
have a beautiful background there because as everybody know, the greatest family had a
Yes.
house there, and most of the members grew up in Teresopolis. So jiu-jitsu in Teresopolis is like a trending sport since ever. So since
Yes.
Grace family, and I grew up in a very humble place, and our gym was never like a gym of a lot of resources, like very humble gym, but with hard workers, and we were just aiming to do better and better and better. I mean, at that time we didn't have, of course, social media as we have nowadays,
Yeah.
but I believe the power of will is the most important thing. we knew that we didn't have like many world champions, many like famous guys in our town,
Yeah.
but we were always famous in Teresópolis to be tough. Like early 90s and 80s, people used to come from Rio to fight in Teresópolis to challenge themselves to see if they're in a really good like level. So we were always knowing about it because
Yeah.
we were always like tough players.
You
And
had to be.
yeah, there it's like there's often is a good place to be a jiu-jitsu player. There, everybody's tough.
And
And
I was talking to Shimbika earlier in one of the first episodes, and he was telling me like about Teresópolis. He's like, you can go to the guy that's selling shoes, and he could have been a world champion. Like, there's so much talent there. It's just they never got to the main stage. He's like, but we have 100 Busheshas in Teresópolis. It's just they didn't have the means or the will or the dedication to really leap. Because, to be frank, even when you were studying jiu-jitsu, there's no career path, right? It's not clear what you can be as jiu-jitsu. Yeah,
very
man.
true.
Crazy, crazy. You know, something interesting, Adriano, is I was reading like a sports psychology book, and they were talking about willpower, about like how it is what made Olympian gold medalists, triathletes. They prepare their body as much as they can, but there's a certain point in an Ironman where no physical preparation will let you finish. It's all the mind because everything's tearing down. They were saying when torture organizations, right, human torture, the first principle of human torture is to break down the will. This is the number one thing because they understand that this is the most powerful thing, most powerful defense the human brain has. If you have a very strong will and they push it too hard, then they cannot beat you. So torture specialists, don't ask me why I read this, but Middle Eastern are talking about this. Torture specialists are taught never to push you too hard because that will make your willpower rise, have nothing to lose, and they cannot break you. They learned that they have to play with you in small things, fuck you over in small bits and pieces until together this alone breaks your willpower. But if they attack hard, if they start with electricity, if they start with drowning, you reach to a point that's immediate life or death, willpower kicks in, and you're ready to die. And they know they can't break you. The same mentality takes to be an incredible champion, a person to finish it's the same part of the brain. So you have to face it deep, head on, commit 100% to make your body wire for willpower. If you go bits and pieces here and there, I admit in jiu-jitsu, all the way up until like recently, my mindset was bits and pieces. I was always hesitant. I didn't take it fully committed. I have a wife, family. In this mind, all of these things came into play. I never excelled. When I started reading these books, it changed my mindset. In the moment, I let go of everything. In the moment, I decide I want to accomplish something really badly. I need to fucking get this grip. I need to fucking get this position. And my game gets good. When I put myself in this mind, it's very difficult. It's not as often as I'd like it to be, but I learned that this is what it takes me to succeed in things. Same thing in life. So I wanted to share with you, like when you're saying willpower, there's like a study on sports psychology about torture and willpower for sports. It's crazy.
Yeah, so that's why I was as you talk, I was like remembering things here, and it's very interesting because people nowadays, I can't say people in general, but
Yeah.
the majority of the people we are in touch with, like
Yes.
blue belts, white belts, or just average jiu-jitsu players, they are always looking to learn from someone who has like a amazing achievement and like a successful career and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the person itself?
Mm-hmm.
What's their values? How he how how he was raised in how he was raised? Who is this person? I know his achievement, I know his numbers, but who is he? Where he came from. So I believe in jiu-jitsu, especially in jiu-jitsu, is very important. You learn from someone who is like a gentleman. He works with ethic, because we know in so many different sports we can achieve numbers and even not being a good person.
Yes.
Or like not even a good person as kind of bad word, not kind of nice word to say, but
I
we
understand
can't
you.
attach ourselves to numbers. We have to attach ourselves to trust, to ethic, to hard work, to experience. Because in jiu-jitsu, not like other martial arts, like we can get a black belt because we know certain amount of techniques. We don't have the jiu-jitsu.
Mm.
Why? Because to be a jiu-jitsu black belt, you need life. You need to you need to have like experience.
Experience,
You need to
yes.
carry on. We need to carry on with you like failure and successful experience. So I if I can say something the for beginners, for white low belts, is find someone you admire
Mm.
as a person,
Yes.
and if you trust this professor, this master,
Mm.
if you like him, if you admire him, the way he lives, the way he deal with friends, family, and the society itself, I'm sure he is the perfect teacher for you.
Well
So,
said.
but if
Well
you
said.
don't admire this guy, the way they treat like people from poor background, if treat differently people from different backgrounds, I don't think is the right person for you to learn from. That's my personal advice.
And absolutely.
Because in the jiu-jitsu gym where I came
Mm.
from, I used to train daily with like doctors, lawyers, and with like cleaners,
Mm.
with like people who have like a very humble life, who couldn't afford to pay the monthly
Wow.
membership, but they was there because they like exchanging something back, like cleaning or maintenance. I was dealing daily with these people, and once they step in the mat, they're all equal, you know.
Yes.
So there's no difference. It's so beautiful. I see a doctor talking to the cleaner like in a
Mm.
very friendly way, laughing together,
It's beautiful
making
to
jokes
see,
with
man.
each other, and like it's amazing.
Yeah.
I feel really good that I could grow up in this kind of environment. And I believe everyone who's playing jiu-jitsu must follow someone that they
Yeah.
admire as a person,
Yes.
not as a number.
Yeah. I think we reached a point in society and what we're seeing in the news around the world today where we need to follow this compass more than we've been following, like the compass that we've been following, the whole money and entrepreneurship. And look where it got us. Look where we are today.
Yeah,
Overspending, over consuming. We're separated. We're not living with our families anymore. We're trying to achieve success alone, living in a studio. And in quarantine, now all these guys living in studios because they just achieved ambition. They miss their families.
yeah,
They miss their homes. They miss everything. Today you see all of this shit about like the racism in the US and all of the black community feeling like it's just that's it, we reached the limit and all. It's I don't know, like sometimes I feel like a hypocrite. Sometimes I feel it's cheesy because we keep saying it like jujitsu, jujitsu. Everybody's like, oh, fuck off with this jujitsu. But it's true, man. If those people that hate each other so much did jujitsu, like in that gym, the doctor, the cleaner, the dentist, all it's just I can't see, like you can't even see color, like you can't see anything. All you feel is somebody trying to choke you. Like it doesn't make a
yeah,
difference. I've been strangled by big, small, thin, fat, white, black, purple. Like it doesn't make a difference. In the end of the day, the choke is a choke. It's difficult. Like somebody who doesn't do jujitsu listening to us right now is like, ah, these fucking jujitsu guys. But I hope that we definitely find this, like more police officers training jiu-jitsu, more military training jiu-jitsu, more government officials training this kind of, because it'll change their perspective on people.
yeah. You know, I believe that's why I'm a fan of Fabio Gurgel,
Mm.
the Alliance, like
Yeah.
one of the Alliance founders,
Why?
and I believe that's why he's spreading his like knowledge around, because he developed such a successful system in Alliance, and he
Interesting.
could just keep for himself and make more money, money, money. But he's sharing with everyone, any kind of any kind of gym or teacher or
Okay.
back, doesn't matter. He's sharing with everyone because I believe he wants deep on himself that everyone that jiu-jitsu can reach much more people than we're reaching now. Because
Wow.
if he keep his successful system for himself, we could like reach like certain number of people. But if
Yes.
he spread this successful system to as much people as he can, so much more people will be exposed
Yeah.
to the good system he created, and much more people will be able to live their life in a manner that we want, in a way that we want. So I believe that's the number one thing he's thinking in life, because he's successful, he has money. Of course, we always can aim to have more money, but anyway, that's not the point. The point is, I believe he's
Yeah.
trying to change the world with
Yeah.
with his tools, with his skills, and it's such a beautiful thing. He's
Yeah.
I really admire him, because he
Wow.
could just hold for himself, for his business, his skills, but he's sharing with everyone. So it will benefit the
Everybody.
population, yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so
Including him.
beautiful.
Including him.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
I mean, like, that's the thing. The reason for your actions shouldn't be money. Money should be a byproduct of your actions. Because if you do good, if you are good at what, like, Braulio Stima said something very nice in our interview. He's saying when he talked to his father to convince him that he wants to do jiu-jitsu, he said, the best gardener in the world, he's okay. The best mechanic in the world, he's okay. I want to be the best jiu-jitsu, and I believe if I aim for this, I'll be okay, right? And then being the best coach, my goal is not to make the most amount of money. It's to be the best coach. You're going to be okay financially. You don't have to worry about it, because you're going to build such a culture around you. So, man, like, I think the big, let's say, theme of everything that you've talked to me today is to be the best at what you want to be and to commit to it, and everything will fall in line. Everything will come together, right? Just don't be distracted by all of the shit and the flashy cars and the money and all of it. Like, be the best, and shit will come together the way you want, right?
Yeah, that's true. One of I admire a lot Brazilian athlete. I don't know if you heard about Ayrton Senna. He passed
Yeah, of
away in
course.
1994. He was
Of
F1
course.
driver,
Of course.
and he mentally he was
Wow.
unbeatable mentally. And he used to say that if you want something, if you really want something, it's gonna happen.
Mm.
Somehow it's gonna happen. You just
Yes.
have to want from with all of your power. If you really want something, it's gonna happen. Somehow it's gonna happen. He would say that.
Yeah.
There's a famous speech that he saying this word. So if you, as you said before,
Yeah.
we're powerful. So if you really want, it's gonna happen.
Mm.
So you just need to want that with full of your heart. So
Absolutely.
that's that's
Absolutely.
a that's a thing that jiu-jitsu guys, jiu-jitsu players, except especially fighters,
Hmm.
need to have, like, that unbreakable,
Yeah.
like, mindset. They need to have something from their
And, and
hearts.
and it's like we're saying, it does not have to be just world champion. It could be the best
Hmm.
coach. Like, look at John Danaher. John Danaher
Yep.
is trying to be the best at conveying a system to somebody. He's not trying to be the best competitor. He found his niche, his small place in the world of jiu-jitsu, and I'm going to be the best at that. And look how successful he is right now. You know, it can be many things. You just got to find your own way. You got to find your own path. Man, I love it. I absolutely love it. I promise you, Adriano, I think I need to make 10 parts with Adriano Lima because there's so much I feel like we could get into and talk about. But, like, I wouldn't want to end this podcast without talking a little bit about your experience with Jiu-Jitsu in the UAE. From when did you come to the UAE? 2010? 11?
11,
11.
summer 2011.
Since you arrived summer 2011 until today, 2020, let's pretend we're still in December when life was normal. But so from then to now, did you see a huge change in jiu-jitsu in the locals, the Emiratis and the Arabs and the people you've been training? The quality of
Of
jiu-jitsu?
course, of course, of course. And you know, as we've been discussing,
Yeah.
people are talking about a lot about numbers.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Numbers talk, of course. You can deny
Yeah.
numbers, and definitely the quality of jiu-jitsu in the region, not only UAE,
Yes.
Gulf, the whole Gulf.
Absolutely.
We can't compare 10 years ago or what is now. You just watch the World Pro, and we can talk.
Yes.
So the quality is, I mean, the way better. But what I see, the most important thing that I see, because
Yeah.
I work in school, so
Mm.
I used to to live with the kids
Yes.
like for 8 hours a day, every single day, and
Okay.
their parents, their father, their their dads are practicing jiu-jitsu. Their uncles, their brothers. I mean, jiu-jitsu is part of the UAE Emirati culture at the moment.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like you switch on TV, it's there. It's not only about sports itself, the numbers, but it's about how they include the jiu-jitsu in their culture.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the beginning, I thought that we are here to change the way they live, but it's not fair thinking about this way,
Right.
because they don't have to change the way they live. It's
Absolutely.
their heritage. The way they live is their heritage. They
Yes.
they can't they can't change. So we must adapt ourselves to their way of life, and we are doing this very well.
Yes.
Jiu-jitsu is now into their culture.
It is.
That's beautiful. We didn't have to change anything. They accepted us, and
Mm-hmm.
we are there, like developing them as a athlete, and also helping them to develop as a society, as a human being. And
100%.
it's beautiful the way like 5 years ago in the school, and nowadays kids are in love with jiu-jitsu. They treat me in a different way.
Yes.
Before, for Marcelo Freitas, he's here like 10 years. He can talk better than me. But
Mm.
from my own experience, the way I was treated 5 years ago, and the way I'm treated now, they have much more respect for me than
Yes.
before.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is bringing them some values that we learned from Japan.
Yes.
It's bringing out to Emirati culture, and that the biggest change I can see in the UAE society. It's the way we are treating each other. You know, as I
Oh
talk
yeah.
in the gym, like I have cleaners and lawyers, and we are more, as I can say, equal. There is no equality we know
Yes.
in this world, but
Yes.
there is more. I mean, sense of respect.
So true.
That's beautiful.
Mm.
Jiu-jitsu as a sport is, we can discuss. It's way
Yeah.
better than before. I mean, we
Man,
we we don't
it's
even
so
have to
beautiful.
mention because it's clear.
Yes.
But this society, the way the society like embrace jiu-jitsu is so beautiful. Like parents, even mothers, like supporting kids in the competitions. We go there in the arena and we see
Mhm.
like the mothers and whole
Yeah.
family, like sister and dads and so on. I mean, jiu-jitsu is part of the culture. It's like I couldn't ever imagine it could happen so fast in a
Yes.
culture totally different than mine.
Yeah.
And I believe that's the
Well
the
said, man.
biggest change I could see here in this country.
Well said, man. It's crazy because it is a once in a world experiment to force a martial art and a Brazilian culture into a totally different culture. Like Brazil culture, religion, traditions is totally different than Emirati culture, religion, and traditions. But look how amazing they mixed. It's just for me, it's an example of what's possible. Because like today we live in a world where everybody's looking at somebody else, black, white, Asian, left wing, right wing, all of this stuff, and it's impossible to relate. What are you talking about? Brazilians that lived on the other side of the world with a completely different religion and different life growing up are with Emiratis, all right, a Bedouin Arabic culture, Islamic culture, like brothers on the mats. And man, when I interviewed Omar Al Fadli, I'm talking to him. I didn't tell him this, but as he's talking to me, I'm sitting there. I'm like, he's talking like a Brazilian. His English accent is the English accent of a Brazilian. It made me so happy. I don't want to say it to him so he doesn't feel awkward. But that's just how much it mixed because Hibamar Santiago is his coach, his master, right? He considers him his master. And he's so impacted by him that it's not his ethics, it's not his personality, his language got affected. That's a very like language is our way to convey our message. So for that to be affected, this is the deepest kind of impact you can have on people. And I see you. Like, by the way, just to let you know, I know you don't see YouTube right now, but the chat is so many Wahda guys. Best coach, my role model, my coach. And like I have Arabic text in the chat. This is the impact you have. I see you like in Al Wahda club when I was training there. They love you, bro. And they look up to you and they want to copy you. They want to look like you. They want to take off their shirt and like show you that I have muscles also. Like this is the it's not jujitsu. Kimura, Americano, omoplata. Great. but it's the personality. It's changing, and I love it.
That's my personal goal in life. Impact people, somebody else's life. Because I know how important it was my uncle for me.
Mm.
Saw his my whole life, his dedication and
Wow.
all his like hard work in life. So it's impressed me a lot. I was like admiring him, like you know, I feel like this man's real. Like look what he's doing. Like how hard he works every single day of his life.
Yeah.
And I want to impact this guy, this young guy, is the way
Mhm.
he impacted me in life. And it's not about techniques. It's about personality, the way
Yes.
you deal with difficulties, the way you you live your life.
Mhm.
So this is what I want to. This is my personal goal in life. Behave as a whole model.
Yes.
Behave as the best way I can to be able to impact somebody else's life. Because
You
this is what
are.
I think is important. So
You
my
definitely
belief.
are. You definitely are, Adriano. Like, because you're a reserved person that doesn't openly express. Listen, I appreciate so much you being here and talking with me because I know there's many people listening right now and that will listen to this that will be so happy to hear you expressing yourself like this because they do look up to you. It's just sometimes they don't know how, maybe the language, maybe they're shy also, maybe something to understand this. But now for them, this will mean the world. Because for people who want to be like you, who look at you as a role model, they need more information to imitate the role model so that they can have a better life. Like imagine he's your uncle, Peter, but because he's living this crazy life and fighting and everything, maybe you didn't get as much time and information as you would have liked. Imagine you had a 2 hour breakdown where he just explains some of how he thinks and some of it will be worth the world to you, right?
Yeah,
And
definitely, for
and
sure.
this is how I see this, man. And I hope like I did people justice because I know there's many people that love you and look up to you. Like, man, you've got guys from Cobra Gym when you would just go train there. All right. And I'll tell you, you'll know who this is and he'll know who he is. But he was saying, like, he sent me a message. He's like, he's not very close with you. You guys aren't very close in chat, but he used to train in the gym. All right. He's vegan. And, and at some point, like, you found out that he really likes Henzo Gracie. Right. And you're reserved, you're not talking, but somehow, one way or another, you helped him with something to do with that, and it meant the world to him. It's these small actions you do, Adriano, that reach me as in my inbox when I say Adriano's going to be on the podcast. Like, and I hope you know this. I hope you understand that there's so much gratitude for you. Right? Not just jiu-jitsu, not everything. You have left your mark already in the UAE, and we really appreciate you. Like I trained under you for a while, and I appreciate the hell out of you because I know what you offer to people.
Thanks, brother. I mean, thanks so much for
I mean it. I mean
kind
it. It's
words
it's
you
just
had.
facts, Habibi. It's from the heart. But
It's that's my goal in life. I'm just pursuing.
yes,
I just pursuing my goals in life, and that's what I love to do. And I just want people develop themselves as full potential. I just want people reach their full potentials in life. I I just want to push them in the best way possible and show them that can achieve every single person can achieve anything in life. You just must believe in yourself
mhm,
and work with ethic and work hard. It
mm,
will be, it won't be easy. Yes, it won't be easy, but you can do
absolutely.
that if you want. And you must allow yourself to achieve more in life. I
To
mean,
believe in yourself as well. You must allow
yeah,
yourself to believe. Yeah,
yeah, that
very
that.
true, man.
I mean, I can see so many kids in the gym and the school that they are like very reserved, and it's remembered myself.
Uh huh.
And I want to reach this kind of students, of people, that because I know they don't talk that much. They don't like to have like deep conversation with someone they don't really
Yes.
like close. But with my actions, with my daily actions, I can open a gate and show them
One
that
hundred percent.
they they have to have self confidence. I
Yeah.
was I was as a kid like very shy, and my self confidence was very low for a long period of my life. And once I released, I mean, I got rid of this feeling of low self confidence. I could see that I, I can I can have anything in life.
Nice.
And what I want is everybody who used to feel this the way I felt when I was young, get rid of this feeling. That's what my goal in life, that to share with everyone who used to live the way I lived before,
Yeah.
that they can get rid of this. They can like achieve anything in life. They don't have to be scared, but don't have to be shy. They just have to believe in themselves and be happy.
100%.
I mean,
100%. And it's like somebody really wise, I heard this from, self-confidence is just like a muscle, just like your bicep, right? You want it to get strong, you have to train it. And you can't go and carry 50 kilos and start with it. You have to start with half a kilo, 1 kilo, 2 kilos. Go try to play a small match in your gym, right? Go into it and say, I will not give up my closed guard. I will sweep from my closed guard, and like build your confidence bit by bit, build your character bit by bit, and naturally you will feel yourself. That's it. I have put all the pieces together. Now I'm a confident person. So just riffing on what you were saying, it's such an impactful message that you're sharing with us.
yeah, look, back, just tell us a short story,
Please.
and also related to the books you're reading about psychology. Once I came back from my surgery, and I wasn't fit, of course, and I was like a couple of years not training Jits in a high level.
From your knee
So
surgery.
I thought myself, thought myself, I need to get my endurance, my cardio, my fitness back before I start to learn Jits. Otherwise, I would struggle for months, even a year, just trying to get back in shape if I don't put my body in a shape before I start to train jiu-jitsu on a high level again. So I went to Thailand. I spent 2 weeks there. I wish I could have more, but I had only 17 days in Thailand, and I immersed myself in a crazy schedule. Like I was first 3 days, I was wishing I wasn't there, but in the end, it was not my body who changed. It was my mind.
Oh wow!
Because at the beginning, I was like struggling. I can't. It's too hard. I'm not fit. I can't. But every single night before I sleep, I was telling myself why I'm here, or to change myself. So I can't give up. And I wake up every single day and I go there and survive. And in the end, the last 5 days of these 17 days, I was like flying. I was doing everything like, it's so good. I was like, ooh, I'm feeling good now. I'm flying. I'm doing everything so well. I'm not struggling anymore.
Wow.
But what's changed? Of course, my body changed. But what's changed in only 10 days, 12 days? It was my mindset. I started to believe that I could do it instead of believing I can't. It's too hard. I want. In 10 days, I didn't change my body in 10 days. I changed my mindset in 10 days.
Yeah, absolutely. So the body can change.
Yeah, I brought it to life. And then I started to train jiu-jitsu in a high level. Like guys beating me, Evangelista, Igor Silva, they beat me every single day. And I was like, that's
monsters.
Amazing. Because I'm learning, you know. I was not like fighting with them. I was fighting with myself. Because I was in a certain level and I was going every single day. And I changed my level. And like months later, they said, man, it's impressive. How could you change so fast in a few months? Because I opened my mind, because I knew that I had to change. But to change, I need to open my mind. I cannot stay with my mindset closed. So
you need to make a decision.
And once I changed my mindset back in Phuket, once I changed my mindset, it's never closed again. I kept my mind open till now. So I'm always able to learn and to develop myself with like humble heart, very humble. Because if you can't really learn if you don't have like a humble heart. You have to like accept that. So
when you think you know everything, when you think you know everything, that's when you stop learning. That's so true, man. Like I really appreciate this. Listen, Adriano, like I said, I can talk to you for 10 hours, but I want people to discover the rest from you. Right? There's still a lot to learn from you. There's still a lot of time and memories on the mats to share. And man, I can't wait till this is all over so that we can all reconnect on the mats. But I'm so happy and blessed that we can connect over these kind of platforms. And you have no idea, man. I really value you. I value the time you gave, and I know you're not on social media and everything, but you shared a lot with us today, and everybody watching is going to benefit. So all I can say is thank you.
I appreciate. I mean, I'm kind of, I'm introvert, and
Yes, I know this. That's why.
I'm very honored that you asked me to
Oof, man.
participate, and I wish we can have this conversation personally very soon.
We will. And man, like you're saying, you're on it, man. It's all mine. The pleasure is all mine, and you have no idea how much love, respect, and admiration you have from me and the entire jiu-jitsu community here, man. There is nobody that doesn't know your personality. It's not like, oh, Adriano's this. It's really genuinely, you have a very unique personality that people like and respect, and many people can learn from. So I hope to see more like you. I hope our Middle Eastern population can learn and benefit from people like you. And man, like I was saying, we have so many incredible guys that came from Brazil, and even not from Brazil. Like there's other black belts that came here. We have so much talent in the region. We just need a little bit of a light and a little bit of a microphone so we can hear. So I hope we get to hear a lot more from you, and we will do this again for sure.
Thanks, bro. I have to be thankful for what you're doing. Like,
Thank you.
You put a spotlight on over people that natural. I believe we don't have this attention from nobody else except from you.
Habibi, man, it's an honor.
Thanks,
and this is, I feel this is my duty after everything I've learned from you and people like, man, Marcelo, Wendell, Zumbi, Rodrigo. Like all of these guys changed my life, man. So when I have them on the podcast and they say thank you, I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? I should say thank you. Like they impacted me in ways that last for my life. My son is being impacted by things that I learned from them. You know what I mean? It's just something special, man. But I hope you had a good time though. You had fun?
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah. I just have to. I would like to. I'm very grateful to be here in this country and participate in this project that like I know since 2009, and I was always wishing to be part of this. And you know, it's my adult life. I spent all my adult life here anyway, so it will be. I will carry this country forever with me. And it's funny when I talk to people from. I have some friends in US, UK, and I talk to them. They say, "Oh, you have an Arabic accent." I'm spending so much time here that I'm also
The
having like
language. I
Arabic
love
accent. Yeah.
I love
So
it.
UAE is part of me now, and
Of
I
course.
wish I can live
Of course.
my life here.
It's home
And
now. It's home. Like you've
yeah,
committed so much, and
definitely.
it is home is where you decided to be. It's not where you're from. It's not where your visa is, what your passport. It's where you decide, and you clearly have your love and heart set here, right? And people know this. It's not a. Just talk to the Wahda guys. If anybody's listening, talk to the Wahda guys. Tell them who they love, and they'll answer.
That's very true. That's very true, man. I'm very thankful. I'm very
Habibi, my
thankful for
pleasure.
all this
That was a
time we're
lot of fun.
talking.
It was a lot of fun, and you see, like there's a lot of potential. We can talk a lot more about this, and definitely after this,
Yeah, I would love to.
we will, we will.
As an introvert, I used to talk a lot with
Uh-huh.
somebody else, but
Yes,
only one. I can't
yes,
talk a lot to like two or three more people. If there are two more people, I feel like okay, but only one like you,
I
it's
totally
fine.
relate. I totally relate. But I come from a similar background. I'm telling you, man. Hajime no Ippo. Watch that anime, and you'll understand me a little bit better. Guys, everybody on
And I
YouTube,
hope you watch Yu Yu Hakusho as well.
I,
Yu Yu
I,
Hakusho is
I need to get the name because I don't know how to spell it, but I'm definitely gonna
yeah, I
watch
give it
it.
later.
100%. Thanks, brother. Everybody
Beautiful.
on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. I saw Ricardo Evangelista saying, hey. Fabio Martins de Lima Martins said, hey. We had a bunch of people come in and out. So lots of love for you. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Adriano, appreciate you, brother.
Brother.
See you guys on YouTube on the next podcast tomorrow. Don't forget to tune in. We got a legend with us. Jose Jr. is with us tomorrow. We'll see you guys then tomorrow. Much love.